Thank you, George. I guess I was muted. My apologies. But just to kind of run through the lineup once again, since I was muted, Schmidt is on the mound for the Yankees today. He had a rough start to the season, entered the game with a 6 and change earned run average. Dropped that already with his performance so far today through only two batters, or two batters being retired anyway. But the Guardians, just kind of run through their lineup once again with you guys since I was muted. My apologies. Quan is going to be starting in left. He led things off with a single. Rosario kind of grounded one into, or what should have been a double play, but was able to beat it out. He is now the runner at second after the error on Rizzo on the ground ball by Ramirez. Naylor just got struck out, and we've got Josh Bell in the box. Jimenez waiting on deck. Brennan is in right, Straw in center, and Gallagher does the catching. Yankees, again, no Aaron Judge. Volpe is at short, Torres at second, Rizzo at first. LeMahieu is your third baseman once again. Willie Calhoun gets the start at designated hitter. Bader's in center. Bowers is back after banging into the wall in Texas. He's in right today, and IKF is in left. Hard hit ball between first and second. Looks like this might score a run. Rizzo does score easily. Runners will now be on the corners with a run in and two away for Jimenez. Looking back on that trade, that Francisco Lindor going to the New York Mets with Ahmed Rosario and Andres Jimenez, among others, going back the other way to Cleveland. You'd have to say that really worked out well for both sides. Initially, Lindor struggled under the bright lights of New York, but he's certainly gotten a little bit more comfortable there. And you look at where the Cleveland Guardians payroll is, that's kind of what they had to do. They couldn't really afford a player of his caliber that would have commanded that level of salary. And to be able to get guys to stay on this roster, Jose Ramirez and Jimenez signed to long-term deals, that's just great overall management of your salary situation. Jimenez having a little bit of a down start to his year, 236 average, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. But it's still early. We're about a month into the season, so you'd like to see him start to shake out of it at this point. That one misses north of the zone, and it's 1-1. And that one misses well beneath the zone, and it's 2-1. That run, by the way, goes as an unearned run. But before the game, Brian Cashman spoke with the media about the state of the team, about their stand or where they are in the standings, about the health of the team as a ball club. Basically saying, hey fans, be patient with us. We know we're 8.5 games back. It's a long season. We understand we're going through some injuries. We'll get everybody back. We'll see us rise in the standings. And yes, the baseball season is a long one. It's 162 games, I get it. But we're talking a full month into the season now. We're still seeing some issues with that starting rotation. There are big expenditures as far as free agency. Carlos Rodon, I mean, you're still waiting to see the dividends there. The rotation still looks like it's a little bit light as far as depth, and that's kind of the issue we saw with them last season. You'd think that bringing in guys like Carlos Rodon, making the trade for Frankie Montas, that they'd start to have some production. Well, they've gotten literally nothing out of Frankie Montas, and Rodon I don't think has provided anything either. But just looking at where the Yankees are right now, they got to be able to tread water. Their offense hasn't been able to fight their way out of a wet paper bag so far this season. And we'll see if they're able to get themselves back on the right track. But Volpe, of course, broke camp with them, so that's kind of the inspirational story, I guess. A lot of Derek Jeter ties at the beginning of the season anyway. But this team just hasn't been able to produce. I mean, you look at guys that are in this lineup that are actually doing their job. Guys like Anthony Rizzo's hitting 282. But outside of that, it's kind of a mixed bag. They haven't been able to really put anything together consistently. They did get the win last night, kind of a come from behind victory. They were behind 2-0, I believe, against the Guardians, and kind of came back in that one. But Yankees certainly have their work cut out for them. Judge is expected to miss at least a little bit more time. We mentioned quite a bit of the injury news from around Major League Baseball yesterday, with starting pitchers going down left and right, it seems like, over the past week or two. Justin Verlander put a video out today about him set to make his debut for the New York Mets. The Mets really need some help in that rotation. Verlander should be a solid addition, you would think anyway, but he's going to be coming in for the first time into the season. You wonder if he's ready for the season or if they're kind of rushing him back just because of where they are in the standings and how much struggles they've had kind of staying afloat in that NL East. You look at guys like Max Scherzer, who missed time due to a 10-game suspension for a foreign substance that was found on him. The Mets are certainly going through it with that rotation. The 3-2 is grounded in between second and short into the outfield, and this will again advance the runners at the corners, and now it's a 2-0 ball game. Guardians do one thing very well, and that's make contact, and that's certainly what they're doing right now. They're making Schmidt work. He's already up to 26 pitches. We're going to have a mound visit here. More trouble for Yankees starting pitching. I mean, it wasn't a great hit by any means. I mean, if this is hit anywhere, a foot right or left, this is probably fielded rather easily by one of the middle infielders. But as it stands, it gets in between the two, and Yankees trying to claw out of it once again. Now, as I mentioned, Aaron Judge is out, at least for the time being. It's not expected to be a long-term injury for him. He should probably be back within probably about 10 days or so. But you look at other injuries around the league right now. Corey Seager's been out for almost a month now, or 3 weeks anyway. He is expected to be back within a week to 10 days for the Texas Rangers as they start to get healthy for an offense that's already proven to be very effective so far. Ezekiel Duran, another Yankees former top prospect that was acquired in that Joey Gallo deal. I'm sure the Yankees would absolutely love to have him right now. I think his average on the season is like 320 with an OPS over 1,000. I think the Yankees would love to have that production right now in the lineup over a guy like Torres or a Calhoun, and that's exactly where he would be in this lineup. The 0-1 here to Brennan. This one is tapped, pretty much rolled out to first base. This time, Rizzo takes it himself and doesn't goof it up. And we're after one, or middle of one anyway. The Guardians 2 and the Yankees none. 3 hits in the inning, 1 error by the Yankees. Just not exactly the prettiest inning of baseball for the Yankees. But it's going to be a long game. Hopefully they can finally get some production out of that offense. As we mentioned, that's been the issue for them. They haven't been able to provide anything offensively. And we'll see if today will be any different. Checking in on around the league anyway with scores. Tigers and Mets in the middle of the third right now. 3-0 Tigers in front. We mentioned the Pirates took the 1-0 lead against the Rays. Braves are absolutely clobbering the Marlins 7-2. Cubs taking a 1-0 advantage over the Nationals. We just saw the Guardians take a 2-0 lead over the Yankees. Yankees' turn coming up next. Still pretty much scoreless in most of the rest of the games. We did have a couple of games go on earlier today. A little bit of a surprise anyway. The Giants have put together back-to-back very impressive performances against the Houston Astros. Shut them out last night with Anthony DeSclafani getting the start there. A 2-0 win last night. And then today, Framber Valdez was on the mound. And they just, again, couldn't put any runs on the board. I think the only guy who actually produced for them was Bregman with a 2-run homer, or 2 RBIs in the game anyway. But the Giants take it 4-2. And Astros, again, with more mixed bag performances to start the season. Remember, they're without Jose Altuve. The Padres get the victory over Cincinnati, 7-1. Dodgers clobber the Phillies, 10-6. The Rangers, though, that bullpen issue is for real in Texas. 12-7 was the final there. Rangers had the lead going into the 7th, I believe, and then it just couldn't they just couldn't lock it down at all. I mean, they were going up against Merrill Kelly, so they faced the 1 and 2 in that rotation. They got the win last night in a comeback win against Zach Gallen, but today their bullpen once again coughed up a game. We're talking about in the last 2 weeks, we've seen them take wins on the schedule to losses. We saw it against the Oakland Athletics where they gave up a lead late. We saw it against the Cincinnati Reds where all 3 games were walk-offs. And then we see it once again bite them. So we'll see if Texas decides to make a move here in the bullpen rather quickly. Nice hit here by Volpe, but right to the left fielder. Kwan makes a nice running catch. And that's the first out of the inning. The doubleheader earlier today, the Tigers beat the Mets 6-5. Mets still are a couple of games above 500, but as I mentioned, they're going to get Verlander back here shortly. Check in on the standings from around Major League Baseball here in just a moment. Swung on and missed. Torres again with a big swing. One thing we've noticed with watching the Yankees play over the past week or so is that Torres has one approach and one approach only. He swings really big early in the count, so if you have some off-speed stuff, you can fool him. And then if you're going later in the count, that's when you need to hit him with that fastball. And that seems to be the formula that if I were a starting pitcher or a pitcher going up against Gleyber Torres, that would be the formula for success against Gleyber Torres. Just try to take advantage of his aggressiveness early, and then try to take advantage of his cautious nature late in the account. So Shane Bieber is on the mound today for the Guardians. That 1-2 pitch misses outside, or that 0-2 pitch anyway misses outside, and it's now 1-2. This one misses in the dirt. 2-2. One thing the Yankees do very well is they do work the count. It's one thing I wish teams would recognize that's exactly what they're doing. Fastball right there beats Torres. See, told you. Off speed early, fastball late. And it'll be up to Anthony Rizzo to keep this inning going. First pitch swinging here and flies out to left, so that'll do it here in the first. The Yankees go rather quickly here, and it's 2-0 Guardians on top. Just not exactly a lot to be excited about if you're a Yankee fan, so you can kind of understand why the Yankees reporters are pressing Cashman and the Yankees front office about what they're going to do to kind of solve the issues in their lineup right now. Right now, they're in 5th place in the American League East, and understandably so. Yankees fans were expecting to have a better record than they do right now with the investments they did this offseason to bring back Aaron Judge, bringing in Carlos Rodon. I thought they still needed to address starting pitching, bringing in some depth options. I'm not talking about top of the rotation guys, not even talking about middle of the rotation guys. I'm talking about guys who can get you 4, 5 innings and then turn it over to the bullpen. Because right now you're talking about dipping into your minor league level, especially as these injuries continue to mount for them. And I just don't think they're going to have the ability to do so over 162 games. So while the Rangers have their issue in the bullpen, the Yankees have their issue, 1, staying healthy in their lineup, but 2, getting enough arms in that rotation to be able to get enough outs. So it's going to take more than 1 or 2 guys to be able to make out a rotation. And so Garrett Cole, while he's a great starting pitcher, he's only able to start every 5th day. So you're talking about 4 other games you're going to have to get some quality starts. Nestor Cortez did not have one against the Texas Rangers. Brito had an up-and-down performance. That was really dominant as far as with his location. However, he gave up the long ball, and that was the only scoring in the game. Didn't pitch deep into the game, had to burn through the bullpen a little bit, which forced them to have to use Cortez. Don't see the Yankees making postseason unless Sevy and Rodon come back and stay healthy. I would say that's fairly accurate at this point as far as with their rotation. I mean, they are the Yankees. I could see them easily going out there and making a move for a starting pitcher. The question is, are they going to go cheap like they did last year? And that's right. I said the Yankees went cheap. Remember last year the top pitching arm on the market was Luis Castillo, and they said, nah, we don't want to part with guys like Jason Dominguez or any of our top 3 prospects. We don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and give up a package of 4 prospects like they did in the Joey Gallo deal, and we're going to go ahead and send them on to Oakland for Frankie Montas. Obviously, that deal did not work out well. Schmidt is out for his 2nd inning of work, and quickly, Miles Straw gets on here, first pitch swinging. Kind of bloops that one just over the glove of Gleyber Torres. Gets the job done. When I say just, I mean it hit the glove. But more Yankee struggles. Gleyber Torres is hot. You can tell it under the collar right now. He thought he should have had that one. Nice pitch there by Schmidt, excuse me. Gallagher taking all the way. He's hitting .083, so not exactly known for the bat. Of course, it's only 10 games for him. This one's popped foul, and it's quickly 0-2. But the Yankees are certainly going to have to get some better performances out of that starting rotation going forward. This one's lifted into center. That'll be the first out here in the top of the second. Lineup flips over. Kwan steps into the box. He's got his batting average up to .275 now. One thing this Guardians team does is they make a lot of contact. They're not going to strike out a whole lot. They're also not going to hit for a ton of power. Guys like Kwan, Rosario, Jimenez, those are all guys that are known for on-base, batting average, those types of things. Then you got a couple of guys that can at least hit for some power. Ramirez is known for his on-base, but he also has some power to him. Naylor is pretty much all power. Same thing with Josh Bell. Bell, when he was with the Pirates, was a pretty good average hitter as well, but he's certainly changed his swing path over the past year or so, and that's kind of where we see it, or where we're at right now. That one taken for a strike. The 0-1. Another one just right in the hole between first and second. Wow, what a nice piece of base running there by Straw. He took off. He's a very fast base runner, don't get me wrong, but he took a chance trying to push it to go to third. They tried to cut off the throw, so it really wasn't even that competitive. But in either event, Guardians once again have runners on first and third. Nice job by Straw leaping over that ball to make sure it didn't contact him and force him to be out right there. Looks like that throw is going to be offline anyway. Remember, Miles Straw started his career with the Houston Astros. Schmidt up to 35 pitches right now as Rosario sees strike one. Fouled that one back. Swung on and missed. It's now 0-2. Remember, Rosario reached in the first on that error by Rizzo. Guardians taking advantage of some of the miscues here by the Yankees. Yankees trying to get their defense set here with 2 strikes on the hitter. There is a chance for a double play, but that'll be tough. Both runners run well. Swing and a miss, and that's the second out of the inning. Nice piece of work there by Schmidt. And it'll be up to Jose Ramirez next. If you guys are new here to the Upside, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Send us a question if you have any. We're going to start seeing some trade talk here in the next week or two as we see a lot of teams see what their roster has and is missing, honestly. Texas Rangers, for instance, obviously need bullpen help. I think they should add a bat around the trade deadline as well. I think they need another middle-of-the-order bat. Their DH spot is absolutely atrocious this year. Left field has been atrocious for them. But Duran figures to slide over there once Seager is back. So the shortstop production really hasn't fallen off that much without having Seager in the lineup. Meanwhile, the Yankees, I think they could be in the market for some starting pitching right now. But their lineup should get healthy with the addition, or when they bring back Aaron Judge. They have a glut of middle infield prospects that they can move around. So I'm not really worried about the offense of the Yankees. I'm more worried about their pitching staff and being able to get through 162 with the pitchers they have right now on their roster. It's now 3-0 to Ramirez. Schmidt falling behind here. Don't want to miss. Naylor does have a knack for the big moment. He waits on deck. Got to think Ramirez does have a green light here. The 3-0. This one's popped up off the end of the bat into left center. It will be Bader, the center fielder, gliding over and making the catch. So they get out of some damage or get out of some trouble there. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Guardians. No runs, no hits, 1 error for the Yankees. A lot of scoring around Major League Baseball in the last couple of minutes. Let's check in on some of those. Mets did finally push a run across the board, 1-3, as they're losing right now to Detroit. They lost the first game of their doubleheader today. Rays have come out in front now, 3-1 on top of the Pirates, 2 of the best teams by record in all of baseball right now. Braves have now equaled the Pirates' record after a victory last night and a Pirates loss. Braves are on top of the Marlins, 8-2. Washington has tied it up 1-1 against the Cubs. Toronto has jumped out to a 1-0 lead over Boston. White Sox 3-0 over the Twins. Everything else still scoreless, and no other games have gone final since we last checked. But that's kind of where things stand. Let's check in on kind of the standings right now after a very interesting day of baseball yesterday. Tampa continues with their one of their top records in all of baseball right now, 24-6. Their starting pitching has started to come back to the pack a little bit. Their offense is also starting to come back just a little bit, but they have been absolutely dominant at home, as you saw. They're already up 3-1 right now against a very good early start to the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who've had a nice start there as well. For the Baltimore Orioles, as I mentioned last night, they've really figured out a way to win games. On base, stealing bases, pushing the envelope. And they perform very well. Just look at the run differential between the two teams, though. Tampa Bay has just been able to, knock the cover off the ball, and some of this is because of their schedule, but they've been able to pitch very well. They've been able to score a lot of runs early on this season. They have a 106 run differential. The Baltimore Orioles are only 3.5 games back, and their run differential is only 29. Now, I don't think Tampa's going to be able to win this division. I think that the rest of this division is going to start to catch up to them just a little bit, so kind of keep your eyes peeled for how things work in the American League East. And remember, you don't play each other as much this season. The schedule has changed where you don't play each other 19 times in a season. You're going to face each other about 13 times, and so you're going to have to play against some stiffer competition from other divisions. So we'll see how this changes the standings this season as opposed to last. Toronto Blue Jays, 18-12. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now, but they still have a positive 12 run differential. Boston out to a much better start than I would have thought right now. Ground ball up the middle and through the middle for LeMahieu there. A leadoff single. Nice work there. Pretty much a roller past the mound and into center. Bieber's sharing a little bit of a smile with that one. Pretty sure he thought, maybe I should have blocked it. No, I'm pretty sure the Guardians would rather have you in the game. We saw yesterday Josh Fleming for the Tampa Bay Rays take a ball off of his plant foot on the outside of his ankle, right on the ball of his ankle, if you will, and had to leave the game. So you don't want to see your ace go down due to an injury. Calhoun digs in. Ball 1 outside. But looking at the rest of this division anyway, the Yankees, as I mentioned, are in 5th place, but they're at 16-15. They're not exactly, 15 games back. They're 8.5 games back, and part of that is because of the great start Tampa has. But the Yankees haven't exactly been great so far this season, so they still have a little bit more production to be able to get out of their lineup, I believe, and that pitching rotation has got to improve. That's the biggest thing I think they're going to have to solve one way or another before the trade deadline. In fact, I would probably do it long before then if you can. But hard hit ball by Calhoun right to Jimenez, the second baseman, and that's an easy double play. And the leadoff single turns into nothing there. 2 away here in the bottom of the second. For the Central, pretty much a one-team race at this point, with the Minnesota Twins leading this division by 3 games. But I don't really see anybody else besides Cleveland at this point being able to hold a candle to them. The White Sox got a much-needed win yesterday, but they're 9-21. Their pitching has been sporadic. Their hitting has been sporadic. And I just don't see them being able to win this division. Hard hit ball into left, all the way to the warning track, and Bader is retired. Not able to knock that one out of the yard, but through 2 innings, Cleveland 2 and the Yankees nothing. But as I mentioned, Cleveland's been able to tread water so far without having some of their top pitchers available. Tristan McKenzie suffered an injury just before the season. He's been out for the better part of a month. He's probably going to miss most of the month of May. Detroit, as I mentioned, has got a really bad record right now, 11-17. Honestly, that's probably about as good as they could have hoped for coming into the season. Miggy's final year, all that kind of jazz. But Detroit, I just don't see them being able to hold it down. Javi Baez was already benched once so far this season. They've got a very interesting mix of prospects and older, high-paid players that aren't performing well. White Sox have all the tools, but they just haven't been able to put it together, and I just don't think they're going to be able to. A lot of guys they were counting on have had down years for this, at least to start anyway. They just made 11 roster moves yesterday to try to shake things up, and things just haven't been working there. For the Kansas City Royals, they're 7-23. They're going to struggle to win 60, 65 games. If they get to that point, I think it's a very successful year for them. But I just don't think that they're going to be anything better than that. So don't hold your breath on what the Royals are going to do as far as making noise in the AL Central. One of the biggest surprises, though, is the American League West, a team that we thought was going to have a much better start to the season. Seattle, their lineup looked improved with the addition of Teoscar Hernandez. They had Luis Castillo now for a full season. They have Robbie Ray at the top of that rotation. But hold up, Robbie Ray is now out for the year after suffering an injury. He's already had surgery. He will be out. Now, their young pitchers have certainly performed well as of late, but we'll see if they're able to tread water. It was very good for Jerry Dipoto to not trade away some of the depth they had in that starting rotation. But as it stands right now, they're 4.5 games back in a very difficult division. The Angels have played some good ball. They're at 16-14. And one of the surprises in all of baseball is the Texas Rangers at 18-12. But as I mentioned, they gave away a game yet again. That's 5 games they've given away in less than 2 weeks. They would be challenging the Tampa Bay Rays right now for the best record in all of baseball if they had been able to to be able to bring in a bullpen piece to make things work a little bit better. But they keep coughing up games with that bullpen. I'm very curious to see how their general manager, Chris Young, decides to attack it. If they're going to bring in somebody via trade, if they're going to try to shuffle things around with their minor leagues, if they decide to go with more of their long relievers who they've had a lot of success with in that bullpen as opposed to these short relievers. Jose Leclerc hasn't been able to throw the ball over the plate for them. Interesting delivery there by Schmidt on the 0-2 to Naylor. Looks like he had a little bit of a stumble when he tried to throw that one. 1-2 now. Josh Bell waits on deck. But that's kind of how the division sits. We just talked about the Astros having a 2-game losing streak right now, losing 2 games back-to-back against the Giants. On the NL side, Braves have gotten off to a great start once again, 20-10. That one misses north of the zone. It's now 3-2 to Naylor. Miami's kind of nipping at their heels, a team that we did not expect to be this high in the standings this late into now May, I guess. We usually see Miami start to flounder early, and then they're never really heard from the rest of the season. Miami's got a lot better production offensively this year with Luis Arraez coming over for Pablo Lopez. The Mets, they've had pretty much zero production out of that rotation outside of Kodai Senga, and bringing back Verlander to make his first start as a Met tomorrow. And then you've got Scherzer coming back from his 10-game suspension. The Phillies were at 500 a couple days ago. They have dropped a couple of games now to the Dodgers. Bryce Harper is back, though, so they should be able to hold it down. As we see the Tigers extend their lead over the Mets. Naylor takes a very close pitch on that one for a ball, and he gets a walk. I mean, it caught a corner of the plate, but Aaron Boone did not like that one. Robo-ump probably calls that one a strike. We could see robo-umps as soon as next year. So keep your eyes peeled for what other rule changes they're going to implement in baseball. A lot of the different rule changes certainly have worked for the fans. And just to kind of round out the NL East, Washington sits 11-18, about where we expected them to be. 1-0 here to Bell. Schmidt set. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Bell not able to catch up with the high fastball there. Pittsburgh, the surprise in the NL Central right now, 20-10 to start the year, but this season is more about growth of their young players. Being able to get that contract extension done with Brian Reynolds, absolutely vital for that organization. Their pitching has been some of the best in the majors this year. They've got, 18 quality starts so far this year. That's most in Major League Baseball. Another high strike there. Taken there by Bell, and it's 1-2. Milwaukee off to a pretty good start, 18-11. Cubs off to a pretty good start as well. Dansby Swanson's kind of been the answer there for them. Bellinger's had a good start. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it. Was Bell able to hold up? He was. That pitch was in the dirt. It's now 2-2. Cincinnati's, as I mentioned, got that 3-game sweep against the Texas Rangers where they had walk-offs in all 3. But they're going to struggle this season. You'd think they're going to try to build up some of their position player prospects, see if they can catch fire at the major league level, and that's going to be their future going forward. They could use some pitching, but as things stand right now, they are 13-18. Rounding out the division in a surprise is a 10-20 St. Louis Cardinals club, and they just haven't been able to put it together at all. Offensively, they've had hit and miss performances, but mainly on that pitching side, they haven't been able to keep opponents down. I mean, their starting pitching hasn't been able to go deep in the games. They haven't been able to keep runners off the base paths. They've given up a lot of runs as well, and they're just certainly struggling in those categories. The NL West. The Arizona Diamondbacks were leading this division a few days ago, but they have a pretty solid record still, 17-14. Their top 2 starters are really what's holding it down right now, but their offense is what's kind of getting them going on those other days. And we'll see if they're able to stay in contention till, ouch, that looked like I hit him in the toe, but it goes back to the backstop in either event. It'll be runners on first and second with nobody out here in the third. Curious to see if we're going to see a pitching or a mound visit here once again. Jimenez is up, raised his batting average 7 points with that last base hit. Had the RBI single back in the first. Padres and Dodgers are going to play each other quite a bit over the next 10 days. We're going to cover a few of their games. Sunday Night Baseball, they face each other on the 7th. We'll have that one for you. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they play each other the 12th, 13th, and 14th. We will have those for you here at the Upside as well. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and we'll make sure to cover the big games that are out there pretty much every other day. Ground ball by Jimenez here into an easy double play. Yankees needed that like nobody's business. Good turn there by Torres. Flipped it out of his glove to Volpe. Volpe, a nice, strong, accurate throw to first base. And the Yankees could get out of this one without giving up more damage. But as I mentioned, the San Diego Padres and Dodgers I expected them to be the behemoths in the NL West. I think the Padres just have a little bit more firepower this year since the Dodgers no longer have Trey Turner, and their pitching is starting to lose some of their arms over the last couple of years. They no longer have guys like Max Scherzer in their rotation. Kenley Jansen isn't locking down games late, and so I just don't think that the Dodgers have the firepower that a team like the Padres does. And so I think the Padres bringing in Xander Bogaerts, and now you get Fernando Tatis Jr. back after his suspension. I think that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Padres, and I think they'll ultimately win that division. But they're off to a solid start, 17-15. As I mentioned, the Giants are about where we expected them to be, under 500, and they've won a couple of games now against Houston, so it looks a little bit better. But I do not expect this team to be in contention by the end of June. Another high pitch here by Schmidt. He wanted that one, 2-1. Last is going to be the Colorado Rockies. They're at 10-20. We could see them start to sell off some pieces early. They're really struggling to even have arms in their rotation, much like the Mets were in April. But Mets are starting to get healthy right now. The Colorado Rockies are not going to be able to get their rotation where it needs to go. They're looking literally at the free agent wire right now to bring in starters. German Marquez, their opening day starter, went on the IL. He is out with Tommy John. Antonio Sensatella is going to be back here on Friday to make his season debut for them, but they're still going to need some more arms. They just have gotten absolutely terrible production out of most of their starters, but we could see a few bats in that lineup traded before the deadline. This one lined into center, and Bader makes the catch. That's the third out of the inning. We go to the bottom half of the third with the Yankees behind 2-0. Well, looking at what the Yankees do have on their roster right now, Volpe, they're really counting on him to have a solid rookie season, especially with Aaron Judge out right now. It's still a lot to ask, I think, to have him bat leadoff right now for them. I guess they're trying to see if he can hang with the likes of what they have expectations for of a player of his caliber. They view him as the answer to their shortstop question. They view him a lot in the way they did Derek Jeter when he was first coming up. My question is there another guy in this lineup that you could put up at the top of this lineup that might be able to get on base and do those kinds of things and take some of the pressure off a young guy? But I think a guy like LeMahieu, who's done that before for the Yankees, they have a number of other players who could provide that type of a role for them. But they're all having a lot of down years right now in that outfield. You'd think guys like Harrison Bader could be a guy who could lead off, but he hasn't performed very well. I think the one guy that could would be DJ LeMahieu. He's covering third base right now with no Donaldson. And so we'll see what the Yankees lineup ultimately looks like by the end of the season. But Volpe, I think, might see some benefit by moving him down in the lineup, or at least out of that number one spot. Take off some of the pressure and just let him grow as a player. The Yankees do ask a lot of their players. It is the New York media market as well, so it's never necessarily an easy day at the office, but taking a little bit of a pressure off of a young guy might be important, especially when you consider how much you're going to be counting on him, not just for this year, but for years going forward. But we'll see what the Yankees ultimately decide to do. If I were the Yankees, like I said, I would probably put LeMahieu at the top once Judge comes back, and then just see what you can roll out there. Stanton is no longer, or is not available right now. I think he's injured as well. I mean, just look at the starting outfield right now: Bader, Bowers, and IKF. That's not exactly murderer's row of hitters right there. Hmm. Now they're having difficulty with their broadcast right now on the MLB app. Hmm. Bieber working quickly, already has 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Higashioka is due up next. And wow, that was a quick inning there for Bieber. Higashioka lines out to their left fielder, and that's a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees. They're going to struggle offensively without having those big mashers in their lineup. Don't get me wrong, but did you think they would struggle this much? I certainly did not. See if I can find another broadcast of the game. We might have fixed it. Schmidt is going to be out for his 4th inning of work. He's up to 61 pitches. Guardians Had a chance in every inning so far. As they show the Brian Cashman interview. There we go. Now we got the coverage back. Straw takes strike one there. Falling behind 0-1. Two runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Guardians so far. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Yanks. That one misses beneath the knees. 1-1. One site I want to show you guys real quick is going to be the baseball trade value site. It's one site that you're going to see me use quite a bit over the next couple of months. You guys can check out the trade simulator, those kinds of things. You can also check out the trade boards and just kind of see what other people are proposing out there. And just think of what your team might be able to get. Nice stop there by Rizzo. One hop smash right to him. And Straw is retired for the first out of the fourth. Looks like Schmitz might be settling down just a little bit here. But let's go ahead and filter by, say, the New York Yankees. Let's see if they, what other fans are kind of saying about them, what they could end up doing. You can see this one's definitely a Yankee fan. This one solves some issues for the Yankees, though. Gives them a good bullpen piece in Doval from the Giants, along with Jock Peterson, who's on a 1-year deal. Gives them a bat, a short-term bat, and a long-term reliever. That could be an option for the Yankees. Not exactly upset with the idea there, but again, I think it's way too early for, any particular type of deals to be discussed. So, for instance, giving up a guy like Pereira, etc., while it might get you there right now, as far as equal value, you're not exactly looking for this trade to be done like tomorrow. So kind of keep that in mind. Just kind of look around and see what options might be available. The Giants could be a team that's selling at the deadline, so the Yankees could certainly take advantage of them if they have a bat or two that they need to bring in. You look at what the Padres did, bringing in Matt Carpenter, bringing in Nelson Cruz, brought in Xander Bogaerts. They certainly beefed up their lineup in the offseason. There's not going to be a whole lot of bats on the free agent market after the season, so the trade market might be a little bit high as far as what it's going to cost to be able to bring in bats this trade deadline season. So kind of keep your eyes peeled for the prices that are going to be out there. Hard hit ball, but foul, and it remains 2-2 right now to Gallagher. But the Yankees certainly could use a bullpen arm, I would think, to kind of shorten the game, especially with their rotation having some issues, especially pitching late into games. Looks like the Rays have extended their lead 5-1. This one off the end of the bat and foul. Gallagher almost had a very nice base hit there. Probably would have gotten a double if it fell fair. This one's just an absolutely not going to happen. Urias. Some of these you do see are kind of crazy trade ideas. This could be a very interesting one for both teams. Tigers are kind of stuck in the middle right now as an organization. So maybe they don't necessarily value the draft pick that much and could try to bring in somebody with some talent, especially with where their win cycle is right now. Tigers just need to either A, push towards contention or push towards a complete rebuild. Being stuck in the middle is absolutely what you do not want, and bringing in a guy like Glaber could be the way to go, but I'm sure Yankees fans would rather have a solid, productive player than a draft pick at this point. So a team like the Tigers, if they're looking to do something like that, a team that's looking to bring in draft picks right now might be more willing to do that type of a move. Joe Adell, kind of a buy low candidate here for the outfield. I guess with all their injury issues, this might make some sense. 2 outs now after that strikeout. That one misses well inside on Kwan, and it's 1-0. Another trade that would never happen, even with the Cardinals struggling right now. I don't think they would trade Paul Goldschmidt. Now, Tyler O'Neill, that's another story. Maybe that would be a good outfielder for the Yankees. This one's off the handle a little bit. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa over and makes the catch. Nice work there by Schmidt. Looks like he's got a smile on his face. Looks like he's starting to settle down and get comfortable in this game. A team that is certainly going to sell at the deadline is going to be the Chicago White Sox. Trade here of Eloy Jimenez. I don't know about that working for the Yankees. They already have Jimenez-type players in Stanton and Judge already on their roster. Hendricks would be a good bullpen piece, but again, I wouldn't bring in necessarily Eloy Jimenez. We mentioned that Tyler O'Neill could be a fit. I don't know if you'd do it for Michael King, though. And then you look at this trade here, this one between the two New York teams. I doubt this type of trade would happen, but this is more about getting off the money of an Aaron Hicks type of a deal. But those are some of the trades you might see out there. If you're perusing this site, some trades look a little bit more decent than others not so much. Yankees could go towards the Colorado Rockies and see if they can pick up a guy like Jurickson Profar. I think they already have a number of players like that already on their roster. I don't think they would necessarily need to do that. I do like this trade idea a little bit here, but I think the price might be a little bit high to have Jason Dominguez in this trade. While I do love Doval as far as a relief pitcher, closer option, etc., and the other pieces don't necessarily bring a lot of value. That's the reason why I would hold out on trading a guy like Jason Dominguez, even if it means offloading the contract of a Donaldson. Bellinger and Peterson. I could see Bellinger being moved by the Cubs, but I think they want to see if their start for Bellinger is real. If it is, then I think they hold on to him and try to get him an extension before he really takes off. But right now he's hitting right around 300 so far for the Cubs. He's just had a good April. I want to see him be able to do it for another month or two or three before I believe Bellinger is back to being a better than average Major League player. Volpe takes low ball one. Bieber worked very quickly in the third. We'll see if he does so once again. We'll do some trades here in just a moment with that Yankees lineup. See if they can make something happen. That one swung on and missed. 1-1. He lined out in the first. And this one is grounded hard to third base. Ramirez flips on to first, and he is retired. Torres due up next. Bieber through 3 1/3 is only at 24 pitches. If he keeps this up, he might not break 50. Okay, but he'll break 50, but I mean the Yankees are certainly attacking the baseball early in counts. Again, we told you with Gleyber Torres, soft early, hard late in the count is what I would do to attack him. We'll see if he changes his approach as the season goes on. Another off-speed pitch, first pitch swinging, lifted into right center, going back and just barely onto the track is Brennan, and that's the second out of the inning. Yeesh. Bieber just setting him up and mowing him down. First pitch swinging once again, and this one is a base hit up the middle. Only 26 pitches through 3 2/3 innings. It'll be up to DJ LeMahieu to keep it going here. That was a nice piece of work by Rizzo. Kind of poked that one off the end of the bat and lifted it into center just barely. Time here by LeMahieu. Bieber's working quickly, efficiently, and he's also throwing a lot of strikes so far today. LeMahieu got a single back in the second, a .268 average, 3 homers, 13 RBIs. Takes strike one pretty much right down the middle. The 0-1. Misses just low, 1-1. If you guys are just joining us, appreciate you. Hit that like and subscribe. It does help us out way more than you can possibly know. So we really do appreciate those of you who joined us and subscribed last night when we did the Pirates and Rays game. This one is fouled away, and it's 1-2. LeMahieu, of course, started his career with the Colorado Rockies, performed very well as their primarily their second baseman anyway. Colorado not exactly in contention anymore, and so he finds his way to the Yankees. Was an MVP candidate his first year there. Signed that massive deal that he's certainly struggled to live up to as of yet, but so far this year, he's been one of the better bats in the lineup for the Yankees, and that's been absolutely vital for them. They needed to have some production. LeMahieu's done a little bit of that. Rizzo's done that as well, but missing your biggest cog in the engine, Aaron Judge, is certainly going to hurt in the long term as far as your record and all the other protections in the lineup. When you're rolling out an outfield of Bader, Bowers, and IKF, that's not exactly, murderer's row out there as opposed to a guy like Stanton, Judge, etc. Misses low, and it's 3-2 now. Runner will be off with the pitch. This one's low and away, swung on and missed, and LeMahieu goes down swinging. Well, through 4, it's all Guardians right now, 2-0. Bieber's been dominant on the mound for the Guardians, and this was going to go quickly. Yankees games usually do not move fast. This one's certainly moving fast. We're only 58 minutes into the game right now, and we're already through 4 innings. Shoot, this game might finish in under 2 hours at this rate. Just kind of depends with the Guardians how many times they're going to get on base. But as I mentioned, baseballtradevalues.com is a place you want to check out to kind of simulate some trades, and this is going to be more like realistic trades, not necessarily like, the show trades where you're trading away, your made-up player for Aaron Judge. Sorry. But this type of a trade, you can kind of get some actual value. So we want to start with like the Yankees just to see, what we could possibly do for them. Let's say the White Sox are completely out of contention, and they're looking to add some pieces. Gives you a good approximation of what exactly the value is for certain players on each roster or prospects, etc. So if you're looking at the Chicago White Sox, you're looking to trade some of the guys that have very little service time left. Guys like, for instance, a Tim Anderson. Say Volpe just kind of flames out and really isn't able to strike any real consistency at the major league level. Then maybe the Yankees turn towards a shortstop option. Right now we're going to say hold off on that. You want to give Volpe as much opportunity as you possibly can. But a guy like Lucas Giolito, if you need some starting pitching, might be a good option for you. It's going to cost you a little bit to bring him in. He's going to be a free agent after the year. A guy like Michael Kopech, who's struggled to figure it out on the mound so far as a starter, maybe you go that route since he's got a little bit of service time left. I think the White Sox would like to hold on to him at least for the time being. Looking at the rest of their roster right now, a guy like Lance Lynn, a veteran who's probably looking for some postseason contention. You might want to go after him. He's got a year and change left on his contract, but his value is not going to cost you quite as much as, say, a guy like Giolito. Giolito is on the final year of his deal, but his contract is significantly less than Lynn. So if you're a team like the Yankees and you need some back-end starters, maybe you try to get both of them and see if you can solve your starting rotation issues that way if you're unable to get production out of that starting rotation consistently. We just saw the White Sox there give up the lead now. It's now a 4-3 ball game with the Twins in front. Unable to hold off on that one, and it's quickly 0-2 here on Rosario. As we mentioned, Schmidt has kind of figured things out in the last half inning. Looks like Hamilton is loosening out there, though. Remember, he did have a lot of high-stress pitches earlier in the game, so you don't necessarily want him to go over 100. Nice off-speed pitch, completely buckled Rosario, and that's the first out of the inning. So for now, let's go ahead and just say we're going to go after Lance Lynn. We're going to go after Giolito. We're going to solve our rotation issues with one fell swoop. One other piece that you could go after to try to save them some money, that's the one. Ooh, this one's lifted over second. Nice base hit there by Ramirez. 1 on, 1 out for the Guardians. Let's look at major league level options. But a guy like Hendricks right now for the White Sox, I'm sure they want to see if he's healthy first before they try to move him. But somebody with that level of salary could be what the doctor ordered for them. Looks like that is going to be it for Schmidt, and they're going to go ahead and bring in Hamilton. Nice work, though, by Schmidt to be able to get through those 4+ innings. All the high stress, all the traffic he had on the base paths. A nice fourth inning, anyway, for him. Gives up the base hit to Ramirez. Nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he is a very good, high-quality hitter. And so you leave him on a high note. But again, you're going to need some production. A guy like Ronaldo Lopez could be another guy you go after as far as value. Bring in 3 starting pitchers. Lopez, though, has turned a little bit into kind of a reliever over the last couple of years, if I remember correctly. Go after a Graveman. I don't know if you want to do that. And as far as a hitter, there's nobody here that really excites you right now. You don't want to take on another contract. So we'll just stick with what we got right now. Let's look at the Yankees side of things. They're going to have to eat some of this contract money. But I think they're fine with that. Just looking at the value, if they bring in Giolito and Lynn, you're looking at 24.7. Let's see what they could possibly do. Just looking at it right now, obviously they're not going to take Jason Dominguez and say, all right, we'll do that for Jason Dominguez. No. I think you're probably looking more in this class of prospect here. We'll say Pereira, just because they have Judge now locked into his long-term deal. They don't necessarily need outfield prospects. They can use those as kind of cannon fodder for trades. Then you're looking at some options that you could trade off of this Major League roster. Maybe you try to offload a little bit of salary going back the other way. Solve their issues at second base by giving them Torres. That could be something that gets it done. And maybe a pitching prospect like Vazquez. Something like that. Obviously a lot of value there. So maybe you could even get the White Sox to chip in some cash to equal this out. But it's Ian Hamilton on for the Yankees right now. 9 games, 1-1 record, 172 earned run average. Pitched 15 2/3 innings. He's pitched very well for them. 19 strikeouts, 7 walks. Tells you he does struggle at times with command. Naylor takes one right down Broadway for a strike. Naylor's had his fair share of big moments against the Yankees already in his career. Extending the lead here certainly would endear himself even further into Guardians' hearts. Tapped foul, and it's 0-2. Josh Bell waiting on deck as another one is fouled away. You guys tell us, where do you guys think the Yankees ultimately finish in the American League East? I think with the struggles they have early this season and with the struggles they're having as far as their lineup and roster construction on the whole anyway, I think they could be a little bit better than where they are right now, but I still think they're going to have their flaws going into the summer. So I wouldn't say they're going to win the division, but I'm not saying they're not going to be in playoff contention. The 0-2 once again. Looks like that's going to be a clock error anyway. Goes as a ball on the pitcher. The set and the pitch. Well high, and that's going to be a ball. 2-2. That one misses, and it's now a 3-2 count. Naylor 0 for 1 with a walk in the game so far. Third or fourth? That's kind of what I was thinking. I think they're probably pretty solidly in there at probably the 3 or 4 spot. I think the Rays and the Yankees are probably going to vie for those spots. I think Baltimore and Toronto are probably going to be 1-2 in the division before it's all said and done. I think the Rays are going to fall back to the pack a little bit. I mean, their offense has been great for them so far. Wow. That was an amazing pickoff play. They're saying Hamilton picked off Ramirez there at first. Ramirez was kind of leaning and was taking a couple of steps. And looking at the replay, I couldn't tell on that one. We'll see if they challenge it. Looking at it again, I'm not sure if there's enough there to overturn it. It might have been tie, but they're not going to go ahead and review it though. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and that's the final out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Yankees behind 2-0. But I agree with you, George. Third or fourth seems about right. If they're able to solve their rotation issues, maybe get another bat in this lineup, a little bit more productive bat, I should say, then I think we're talking about a team who might finish second. But I think a team like Toronto is just too good as far as their roster construction right now. The question I have for Toronto is if their starting rotation is going to finally start to be as good as advertised. Last year they were not. They've continued to have an up and down performance so far this year. And they brought in Chris Bassett, who should be able to provide a little bit more consistency. But Baltimore has been playing great as well. Just the way they play the game right now is infectious. Running the base paths, getting on base, and they're getting some really great performances out of players who you wouldn't necessarily expect. Jorge Mateo, Kyle Gibson, etc. But they still got some of their top prospects coming, and I think they're going to invest in that team this offseason as far as pitchers. The offseason free agent pool is pretty much loaded as far as pitchers, but the hitters have pretty much all signed contract extensions as far as some of the major free agents. Shohei Ohtani is the only big-time free agent as far as a hitter that's out there. Then you go down to guys like Matt Chapman and players of that ilk. While that may not excite you, that's probably what's going to be left there for you on the free agent market once we get to the fall. So, if you need to make an acquisition to bring in a hitter, the trade market's probably going to be the way to go just because there's not a lot of talent in the free agent pool. And when you couple that with, the demand for hitting around the league right now, prices are going to go up as we get closer to the trade deadline. So if you want to go ahead and try to make that acquisition right now might be the time to ask some of those teams that are struggling or expected to struggle to see if you can catch them off guard with a high-quality offer that might be lower than what you pay, say, at the trade deadline. So maybe get out there and, test out the water, see what you can pry out or pry away from other teams. But a team like the Yankees right now, with their issues staying healthy, with their issues with production, with their issues as far as the back end of that rotation, they're a team that I think is going to have to make a couple of different transactions to remain competitive in this American League East. Calhoun gets ahead, 2-1 now. Bieber's up to 35 pitches through 4 innings. Appreciate you guys joining us right now. It's been all Guardians so far. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. That one, oh wow. What a nice piece of hitting there by Willie Calhoun. He certainly has a lot of power. That's the one reason why he's in the lineup right now is because of his bat-to-ball skills. This one he absolutely cranks into those right field bleachers, and it's now a 2-1 ball game. Guy who came into the game hitting .222 shows his manager, hey, maybe you should give me some consistent at-bats. That's his second home run of the season. And with no Aaron Judge in the lineup, you're going to have to get production out of guys like Willie Calhoun, like Harrison Bader. The Yankees needed that one bad. The Yankees did get the win yesterday against the Guardians, 4-2. It's now 1-1 on Bader as he takes that one a strike on the outside corner. Another one, pure paint. 1-2. And he lifts this one into left. And caught by Kwan. That's the first out of the inning. It'll be up to Bowers to continue here. Gotta love the Yankees broadcast on this one. They zoom out for the home run in case they think it could possibly go. Balls do tend to carry. But once they realize it, you can immediately see the zoom in. Kind of awesome. Looks like it's raining just a little bit. I can't tell if that was actual rain or what. Something was falling anyway. Doesn't look like it's raining in these images. This one's a hard hit grounder by Bowers, foul. 0-2. Nice catch out there by a fan. This is low and away. It's now 2-2. Fouls it off. Remains 2-2. Bowers, of course, up with all the injuries right now to the outfielders, Judge and Stanton. He himself took a hard hit into a wall, made a spectacular running catch in Arlington, but had to come out of the game. The set by Bieber. And the pitch. This one's hammered. Staring at it and admiring his home run is Jake Bowers. That's his first as a big leaguer. And wow. What a nice comeback here by the Yankees against Shane Bieber, who is rolling through 4 and then just looks like he's missing location with a couple of pitches, catching way too much of the plate. 362 feet, 105 off the bat. Nice piece of work, though, by Bowers to get that one over the fence. And we have a brand new ball game. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. And this is a brand new ball game. This did not look like a very competitive ball game until that Willie Calhoun home run. And to follow it up there with Jake Bowers. The bottom of the lineup coming through for the Yankees. Isaiah Carnafalefa digs in. He's quickly behind 1-2 now. It's one thing with all these replays, you don't really see, or you don't really notice that the clock still moves. So action is still happening right now. Solid contact here by IKF, but he lines out to center, and there is 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. That wasn't his major league first ever home run. He's done it before, back a couple of years ago. Okay. It's his first of the year with the Yankees in either event. Higashioka is up. He's 0 for 1 so far today. Takes ball 1 in the dirt. You see some of the finals trickling past. The set by Bieber. And the pitch. This one's tapped to third. Nice play by Ramirez. He has plenty of time. Nice strong throw to first. And Higashioka is retired. Through 5, we have a brand new ball game. 2-2. We're trying to play around a little bit with the Yankees roster by using the site baseballtradevalues.com in between innings here. We mentioned that the Yankees really need to lengthen out that rotation a little bit, bring in some arms. We thought that the White Sox would be a team that's going to be primed to sell here at the deadline. And so they have a couple of starters that are going to be free agents this year or next that they might be willing to part with to try to save some money. Lance Lynn, for instance, makes a fair amount of change. Giolito a little bit less. That's why his value is so much higher than Lance Lynn, because the money is less. Now, a trade like this obviously would be way too much value for the White Sox to get, but maybe the White Sox pony up some cash for the Yankees in this type of a trade to save them some tax and all those kinds of things. In either event, the Yankees would be able to save a little bit of money, while the White Sox also save some money by moving off of those contracts. But something like this could work. Something else that they could do is if they decided, hey, we don't necessarily want to take back, Pereira. We want to get multiple prospects from you instead. We would rather have, Arias, the shortstop prospect. We'd rather have Warren. Just looking at something like that, that would get you a lot closer, and then maybe throw in $5 million if you're the White Sox. And a trade like this could very well happen. But kind of keep your eyes peeled for what the Yankees decide to do. I think they're going to have to bring in some reinforcements for that rotation before too long. And I wouldn't wait all the way to the deadline if I'm the Yankees to make a move. Schmidt gave you a decent performance with a lot of trouble on the base paths today. Brito's had his up and down performances. Even Cortez has had his up and down performances. Rodon anyway hasn't been able to give you anything as of yet, but Garrett Cole has been very solid for them. Sevy obviously hasn't been able to give them anything. So I think bringing in some starting pitchers that have experience pitching out of the bullpen as well, so that you can kind of piecemeal your rotation together, figure out what you want to do with the long guys in the rotation, or in the bullpen anyway, makes your lineup and your rotation work a lot better once you have that solid rotation together. So maybe Cole's your 1, Rodon's your 2 when healthy, 3 could probably be Lance Lynn, and then 4, Cortez. Looks like we're back in the top of the 6th. Josh Bell swings at the ball beneath his knees, 0-1. Very aggressive hitter. Reached base twice today, single and a walk. Swung on and missed, and he's quickly behind 0-2, taking some time now. This year in AAA, Jake Bauers got off to a great start, a 304 average, 9 homers, 20 RBIs, a 1.245 OPS OPS. Just absolutely phenomenal start to his season with AAA. Looks like he's continuing that so far at the big league level with that home run. And that one in the dirt. Hamilton back out there once again. The 1-2. Nice play by Rizzo there as he grounds out to first base. And one away here in the top of the 6th. Andres Jimenez digging back in. 241 average, had an RBI single back in the first, getting the run scoring going for the Guardians. That one right down Broadway. 0-1. Looks like this will be the last inning for Hamilton. Jimenez couldn't hold up on that one, and it's quickly 0-2. Hamilton's pitched well once again. He's been a gem for the Yankees so far this year. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Hamilton is just cruising right now. I'm not sure I'd take him out at all. He's at 13 pitches through an inning and a third. He's been very effective. Only thrown 3 balls so far. Strike one here to Brennan. Lefty taken all the way. This one misses up and away, and it's now 1-1. Brennan so far on the year, 197 average, 1 home run, and 10 RBIs. The set by Hamilton. And the pitch. Off the end of the bat, right to Rizzo, and he makes the catch. No need to touch the base on that one, but he does so anyway. And through 5.5, we are tied at 2. Check in on some of the other scores from around baseball right now. Tigers still lead it 6-1 now against the Mets in the 7th. Tampa's extended their lead 6-1 over the Pirates. Same thing for the Braves, 13-4 now over the Marlins. Cubs and Nationals still tied at 1. Our game itself tied at 2. Blue Jays and Red Sox tied at 2. White Sox have come back and tied it, now at 4 in the top of the 5th. Orioles are behind once again early to the Kansas City Royals. Remember, they stormed back late yesterday, so we'll see if this starts the rally for the Baltimore Orioles now that they're getting into the later stages of the game. Angels and Cardinals, 1 apiece. And no other game has gone final as of yet. But looks like we're getting some run scoring tonight from a bunch of different teams. Got to imagine Bieber's certainly going to come back out now. He's only at, 52 pitches so far? He's been very effective. However, the 2 home runs are the only blemish on his record right now. It's one thing with the Yankees you always have to worry about is going to be the long ball. It'll be Volpe, followed by Torres and Rizzo here in the bottom of the 6th. Eesh. They show some of the wildest first pitches ever, from George Bush to 50 Cent. Suffice to say, George Bush got his there. 50 Cent ended up in the batter's circle. Volpe takes ball 1, low and away. Another one unable to find the zone north of it. Looks like we do have some rain in New York. Maybe that's contributing to why the home runs happen. Maybe that's why his location was off a little bit in the last inning for Bieber. Umbrellas are out now in Yankee Stadium. 2-1. The set and the pitch. Ouch! That was a hard hit foul ball right off the home plate umpire. I think it caught him a lot by surprise on that one. He takes a minute to make sure the mask is still intact. Bieber kind of walks the mound to give the umpire some time to collect himself again. Bieber working very quickly though. Gets back on the mound, grips it and rips it. Swing and a miss by Volpe. Bieber just working quickly. Last thing you want is a rain delay, especially when you're commanding the ball as well as he is, when it doesn't miss the spot because the ball's slick or something like that. And you know, if there's a rain delay, you're probably not going to come back out and be able to finish the game anyway. That one's a strike right at the top of the zone. Torres lays off it because it's not a fastball. Soft stuff early, hard stuff late. He's 0 for 2 so far today. More soft stuff, and he pounds it into the dirt. 0-2. Now is when I bring the cheddar if I'm Bieber. I wouldn't even worry about pitching around him. I would just go right at him with a fastball here. Another off-speed pitch, low and away, grounded to third. Ramirez up with it. The throw just in time to beat Torres. 2 away. And it'll be up to Anthony Rizzo to keep this inning going for the Yanks. Rizzo 1 for 2 on the day. Swung first ball in both of his previous at-bats. This one finds its way into the dirt. Ball 1. Not a pitch he could offer out on that one. So he will see more than one pitch this at-bat. The set by Bieber. And the pitch. Finds the zone there, 1-1. Again, we will not have a live for you guys tomorrow as far as a live game we'll be doing, but we will have one for you on Friday between the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners. That one gets started around about 9 o'clock. So we will have that one for you. The 1-1 pitch here to Rizzo. And he lifts this one high into left center. Kwan is there, and he puts it away. Through 6, we are tied at 2. To the 7th we go. But on Friday, we'll have Houston versus Seattle. Saturday, we'll have an earlier game for you guys. We'll have the Baltimore and Atlanta game. It looks like that one starts around 6:45 Central Time, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Should be an offensive fireworks show on that one. But we'll see what the pitching matchup is ultimately going to be. And then on Sunday, we're going to have a little bit of a triple header, if you will, depending on how things go. But Baltimore, Atlanta in the early spot at 10:35 in the morning, and then Houston, Seattle around 3:10, and then Sunday Night Baseball, Dodgers versus Padres. Looks like the Yankees are indeed going to go ahead and pull Hamilton. It's going to be Cordero next. Wonder if this is just to kind of keep him available for tomorrow's game for the Yankees. But Hamilton was cruising there. I might have tried to get another inning out of him. He was absolutely dominant. But they go with the righty. It'll be Miles Straw due up first for the Guardians. Here in the 7th inning. Guardians got out to a quick 2-0 lead in the first. In the 5th inning, a couple of home runs for the Yankees by Calhoun and Bowers tied the score. A little bit of rain, I think, influencing how Bieber was throwing there. Missed his location pretty bad on both of the home runs. First time we've really seen any control problems or command problems for Bieber here today. He was absolutely cruising through 4. I mean, he only had thrown 35 pitches through 4 innings. Tells you how effective he was and how anxious these Yankee hitters were. Something you usually do not see with Yankees hitters anyway. Blue Jays just take the lead against the Red Sox there. I know Yankees fans probably cheering that one on just a little bit. Not necessarily cheering for the Blue Jays, but cheering against the Red Sox. Even though the Red Sox probably are not going to win the division, I don't ever see the Yankees fans cheering for Boston, I'll put it that way. That one finishes beneath the zone, 1-0. This one's grounded to third. Nice play by LeMahieu. Flips on to first. A little bit of a poor throw, honestly, but gets the out recorded nonetheless. We're already past the past the middle of the 5th inning, so this game would be official if a team were to take the lead and this game were to be rained out. We do have some rain in New York. Gallagher takes strike 1 there, right down the middle, off-speed pitch. This one misses low, and it's 1-1. That one misses again, 2-1. Looks like he's missing vertically with these last couple of pitches. And this one misses beneath the zone, 3-1 now. Gallagher gets ready in the box. The pitch by Cordero. That one was well inside. Gallagher, for some reason, swung at it. but he takes his time here. It's 3-2. Yankees do have the bullpen going once again. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. Marinaccio? I don't know. Little tapper back to the mound. Cordero kind of jogs a few steps over to first, flips it to Rizzo, and gets the out recorded. 2 away, top of the order once again. Kwan 2 for 3 today. Takes ball 1. He's a very patient, very effective hitter. He was absolutely dynamic in the series last postseason against the Yankees. So far this year, 279 average, no homers, 11 RBIs. Never really going to be a power hitter, but he's certainly a good contact hitter. High on base percentage guy. That one misses low, ball 2. And that one misses again. Cordero a little bit off with his command here. It's now 3-0. That one finds its way in the strike zone. It's now 3-1. Cordero trying to battle back here. The set by Cordero. And the pitch. A little bit off the handle, lifted into left. A few steps in is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Makes the catch, and Cordero, even though his command wasn't necessarily great, gets the job done. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Still tied at 2. Check in on some of the scores once again for you guys. Rays have extended their lead 7-1. Tigers 6-1. Mets are really going to have to put on some runs here. I mean, they do not want to be swept in a doubleheader, and they're going to have Verlander on the mound tomorrow to kind of stop the losing streak if they do lose both front and back ends of that doubleheader. But not exactly a team you want to be losing games to in the Detroit Tigers. Atlanta still on top, 13-4. Game still tied there with the Cubs and Nationals. Our game's tied as well. We mentioned the Blue Jays took the lead 3-2. Twins and White Sox still tied at 4. Looks like the Angels have surged in front 3-1. Royals still leading the Orioles 1-0. Looks like the rest of the games are still the same, or already gone final anyway. Just waiting on that late game to get going. Seattle and Oakland. For the Yankees, it'll be the 4-5-6. Remember, Willie Calhoun got the scoring started for the Yankees in the 5th with that solo shot to right. He'll be due up second this inning. Entered the game with a 222 average, 1 for 2 on the day. He's raised it 12 points to 234 with consistent playing time. You'd think that'd continue to rise, especially with the injuries currently on this Yankee roster. And then we'll see if he's going to be able to play himself into an everyday type of position, or at least a position where he can be called upon more regularly to try to provide some offense for the Yankees. Bowers, though, might be even better. I mean, he's 1 for 2 so far today with a home run, absolutely tearing the cover off the ball at AAA. He might be the one guy that they're going to try to keep in the lineup when Stanton and Judge do come back. But we shall see. For the Guardians, I'd imagine Bieber comes back out one more time. He's only at 63 pitches through 6 innings. We've only had one pitch timer violation, and that was on Hamilton. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Guardians today. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Yanks. Bieber is indeed back out there. LeMahieu 1 for 2 on the day. Does have a strikeout though. Not exactly a great pitched game for the Yankees, but Hamilton certainly was fantastic for them. Schmidt was able to get around some trouble early. Cordero struggled with his command as well, but was able to get the get the job done. Allen finishes well above the zone, 1-0. Bieber working very quickly. Right at the knees, 1-1. LeMahieu's average to 265 right now. This one's lashed down the right field line, well into the seats, 1-2. Bieber set, and the pitch. Off the end of the bat, lifted high into short left field. Rosario there going out and makes the catch in front of the left fielder Kwan and the center fielder Straw. Nice work there. First pitch here to Calhoun. Takes low for ball 1. He's got a very good eye for the zone. 234 average now, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. That one misses low and in. It's now 2-0. Bieber making sure he doesn't miss location over the plate where Calhoun can get something to drive. That one misses low and away. It's now 3-0. Calhoun not exactly the most fleet of foot guy, so a walk not the worst thing in the world. But he's not exactly Babe Ruth either. You don't want to give away free bases to just anybody. And that one misses low as well. A 4-pitch walk to Willie Calhoun. The Yankees have something going here in the bottom of the 7th. Harrison Bader due up next. His average down to 164. See if he can get a base hit here and get things going. Swing and a miss on a pitch just off the outside corner. 0-1. So far this year, last year anyway, Bader hit 250, 5 homers, 30 RBIs. Was an absolute force of nature after he came over from the St. Louis Cardinals, though. That one's pretty much in the same spot, fouled away. 0-2. Guardians checking their defense to make sure they got that double play set up just in case he hits it on the ground somewhere. He's flied out twice in the game, though. As we see the Rays extend their lead 8-1. The 0-2 pitch here. Swung on and lifted into left. And this one's going to be caught by Kwan. That chases Calhoun back to first. 2 away. And it'll be up to Jake Bauers to try to keep this inning alive. If he can put it in the bleachers, that would give the Yankees a 2-run lead. But we shall see. Yankees could really use that power right now. This one's fouled off, and it's quickly 0-1. As they show replays of his home run from back in the 5th. 105 off the bat. Hard hit rate through the roof there. The set by Bieber. And the pitch. A little bit more time taken on this one. Kind of an excuse me swing there by Bowers, and it makes contact with the bat. Nothing in two. And this one is absolutely dotting the corner there. Gets a call there from the home plate umpire. And that's the third strike. That ends the inning for the Yankees. If you're the Yanks, you don't like that call, but it was close enough. You don't want to be taking that pitch with 2 outs and 2 strikes on you. You don't exactly have the authority of a guy like Aaron Judge in this lineup to get the umpire to give you the benefit of the doubt. And so we go to the 8th, 2-2 our score. It'll be Rosario, Ramirez, and Naylor for the Guardians. So we'll see if they're able to string together a couple of base hits like they usually do for their offense. They don't usually rely on the long ball, so do not expect them to try to hook that ball down the line and right to try to get the home run on that short porch. But Rosario hitting .222 on the young season, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Things are not looking good so far for him in his bid to get that big free agent contract. Not sure he would get it anyway on the open market, but he's certainly not going to get it hitting this at that clip anyway. Jose Ramirez, 1 for 3 on the day, batting second. Remember, he got picked off at first last time he was out there. Kind of extinguished the threat the last inning for them. We'll see who they bring on. I wonder if it's going to be Marinaccio. Remember, Schmidt did not go deep in this one. He had high stress innings early in this game. Looks like they're going to go with Cordero for one more inning. Welcome in, BB. First pitch here to Rosario, inside but fouled off, and it's 0-1. Got a Guardians fan. We'll be doing a lot of Cleveland games towards the second half of the month anyway, so keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Swung on and missed there, and it's quickly 0-2. Rosario 0 for 3 on the day, a fielder's choice and a couple of strikeouts, scored a run. This one misses beneath the knees, and it's 1-2. Wonder how long they'll let Cordero go. He struggled with his command the last half inning. Nice base hit here by Rosario, and that's exactly the way the Guardians usually do it. Contact, lifted over second base, drops in there for a base hit, and now they got a speedy runner on with a chance to take the lead here late in the game. Guardians gave the Yankees all they could handle, gave them fits with this type of baseball back in the postseason last year. They play very differently than just about any other team, and it does look like they're going to go to the bullpen. They are bringing in Marinaccio. Maybe because they had Schmidt go so short in this game, maybe they're trying to extend Cordero a little bit. I would have rather extended Hamilton. He was filthy when he was out there on the mound, and then brought Cordero in here in the 8th. But maybe they just wanted to save Hamilton's arm, not have him go too late into the game. He did come on and finish up one inning and then pitched a clean inning of his own, so maybe just having him get up and down once again was just not in the cards for Hamilton today. But as it stands right now, Guardians took the lead early in the game. 2 runs on 7 hits, no errors. Both of those runs coming in the first inning. Yankees scored their runs in the bottom of the 5th on solo home runs by Willie Calhoun and Jake Bowers. Bieber pitched very well through 4 innings, threw only 35 pitches in those 4 innings, but then ran into trouble because the rain started to fall, missed some location, and the 2 pitches I saw him miss worst with were the 2 home run balls, where the ball just leaked over the plate a little too much, and the Yankees didn't miss them. And that's basically been the story of the game so far. Bieber pretty much immediately settled down thereafter. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. Only 1 run has been earned for the Guardians today, an error on Anthony Rizzo. It'll be Jose Ramirez to face Marinaccio. We'll see if he's able to shut things down here in the 8th for the Yankees. That's kind of cool. They're showing a Star Wars Night Anthony Rizzo bobblehead. That's kind of cool. May 5th, so for those, or May 12th anyway. So for those of you in the New York area, if you're a Star Wars fan, that actually looked like a pretty sweet bobblehead. If I lived anywhere near New York, I might consider it. This will be the 12th game for Marinaccio on the year. That one misses just outside, but called a strike. Ramirez didn't like that one, and I can't blame him on that one. That one looked like it was a few inches outside. They did end the inning on a very similar type of call. However, that one just kind of bent back and never bent back over the plate. So, in either event, it's 0-1. This one's lifted high, but fairly shallow right center field. Bader is over to make the catch for the first out of the inning. It'll be up to Josh Naylor to try to drive in Rosario. Kind of a 3 true outcomes type of player. Those 3 true outcomes: walk, a strikeout, and a home run. Naylor's got the walk. He's got 2 strikeouts, so we'll see if he can come through here for the Guardians with some of that power. Strike 1 at the bottom of the zone, 0-1. That one misses well outside, but Rosario takes off and gets second. Now they have a runner in scoring position. That takes away a double play possibility, as Naylor does not run well, so important to get him into scoring position. A base hit into the outfield probably scores him. That looked kind of like a pitch out, though, on that pitch there. It was so far outside. Higashioka gave it a good try to kind of pick it and go. I'm not sure if that was a pickoff move or a pitch out move, but it was so far out there you wouldn't be laughed at if you thought it was. Looks like the Braves tacked on another run anyway. That one misses just north of the zone. 2-1. 3 home runs so far on the year for Naylor. 18 RBIs. The 2-1. Oof. Naylor swinging for the fences on that one. That one looked to be just a hair inside, but that would have been jamming him all day long if he was able to make any contact with that. But just off the inner corner, probably would have been a call to strike anyway. 2-2, and this one's down low, now 3-2. Red Sox have come back to tie it and now have taken the lead over the Blue Jays. Competitive game there. Cardinals not laying down. They have taken the lead over the Angels 4-2 or 4-3 in the bottom of the 4th in St. Louis. Josh Bell waiting on deck right now. Rosario gets a nice lead off a second. The 3-2. This one's popped high in the air but foul behind home plate and out of play, and we'll do it again. This one's lifted foul again down the third base line, and it's still 3-2. Tough at bat here. And this one is fouled off, and we'll do it again. Naylor hanging tough, forcing Marinaccio to work. Not sure a walk would be the worst thing in the world right now for the Yankees. Maybe see if you can get him to chase at one. Worst case scenario, it sets up the double play once again. And this one beneath the zone, you do get him to chase, and he strikes out swinging. That's the third strikeout, the hat trick for Naylor today. And he will not be rocking the baby today as he strikes out. It'll be up to Josh Bell to drive in Rosario. Bell's had a decent day at the plate. Drove in a run. He's 1 for 2 anyway. Also has a walk in the game. Takes ball 1 here, and it's 1-0. Not a fan of that choice to swing on that pitch anyway for Naylor. Just, it wasn't a competitive pitch. You wanted to see if you get him to chase, but normally you wouldn't get a chase on that. But Naylor really anxious, not really seeing the ball on that one, just more trying to make contact and couldn't lay off. That one's right in there at the knees, 1-1. The 1-1 fouled off, and it's quickly 1-2. Guardians down to their final strike here in the 8th. I think Bell would like to have had that one back, see if he could try to drive that one. This one low and away, lifted right to the center fielder Bader, and that's the third out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. It'll be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Higashioka, and Volpe. Curious to see if they could go with one of their bench players, see if they could get a base hit. Maybe they go with Cabrera or a Peraza. I don't know. You might leave Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in there just because he's got a little bit better track record so far this year, but not by a lot. He definitely doesn't have any power, so in that case, maybe you go with a guy like Cabrera to try to give you some power. Looks like the Royals have extended their lead just a little bit. Now 2-0 over the Orioles. Looks like the Cardinals' rally is finally over. 4-3 in the top of the 5th there. Rockies and Brewers underway, 0-0. We mentioned how the Cardinals had come back. Apparently Ohtani already has 10 strikeouts in the game. Looks like that Detroit game has now gone final. They win 6-5 and 8-1 over the Mets today, winning both games of the doubleheader. Let's check in on that game for the Cardinals. Look at Ohtani's line. He's 2 for 2 at the plate with an RBI as well. Wow. However, he's given up 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, given up 2 home runs. Let's see who he gave up the home runs to. Looks like Gorman and Carlson gave up a couple of doubles to Contreras and Arenado. Good game out there. Looks like Bieber is indeed back out there here in the 8th. He's only at trying to see how many pitches he's got. 81 pitches right here. They decide not to pitch for or pinch hit for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and he comes through. A base hit there. Little dribbler through the left side between the third baseman and shortstop. Seeing eye single, as they used to call it anyway. And the go-ahead run is now on base. Higashioka is due up next. We'll see if they pinch hit here. And they do not. And he steals second base on that one. Just raring to go. Yankees realizing their offense isn't exactly humming, so trying to get things done the old-fashioned way here. Looks like he was off with first movement. Good pitch to go on low. Not quite in the dirt, but causes that pop time to be a little bit less when you have to dig down for that one. In either event, runner is now in scoring position. Now we'll see what Higashioka's strategy is. Do they try to bunt him over and get him over there with less than 2 outs? And they do here try to bunt, but it goes foul. Curious to see if Bieber adjusts the way he's going to pitch to him. Try to throw something on the outer half of the plate or just off the plate to see if he can get him to foul off the bunt attempt. And a foul bunt here, and it's 1-2. Unable to get the bunt down. So we'll see if they try once again or not. Both times he bunted it pretty much straight down and into the dirt. Naylor charging pretty hard on that one. Not sure even if he had gotten it into the fair territory, if Naylor wouldn't have tried to go to third. He was so far down the line. Stefan is loosening out there in the bullpen should the Guardians need him. The 1-2 here by Bieber. This one's lifted high in the air. Deep left center. Kwan is there. He sets and makes a strong throw to third. But cut off by Rosario. That was a pretty good throw. I'm not sure I would have cut it off if I were the shortstop there, Rosario. I'm pretty sure I would have let that go through. It was pretty darn accurate. Not sure if it would have beaten Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but it was a good, strong throw in either event. But the runner does indeed get to third with less than 2 outs. After failing to get the bunt down, Higashioka gets the job done. Essentially works as a sacrifice fly, driving the runner over to third. They're going to have a mound visit here. Looks like the Royals extending their lead right now, 5-0 over the Orioles. First pitch here to Volpe is in the dirt, ball 1. Got to be careful with those balls in the dirt. You don't want to have them go all the way to the backstop, and there's the go-ahead run. Downside of having that runner there with less than 2 outs, or at any point, really. The 1-0. Bieber working a little bit more deliberately. Looks like the rain's kind of died off a little bit now. This one's grounded to third, coming home with it. And he is out at the plate. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, I'm not sure if I would have gone on that one. I think he would have been caught in no man's land anyway, because he was so far off the bag by the time the fielder got the ball. Just looking at it, he went on first contact, and he was dead to rights. Gallagher makes the nice tag. Ramirez makes a good, strong throw home, and they cut down the runner at the plate. And this game stays tied at 2. Great defensive play there on both ends. Kind of a fielder's choice, that one will go down as. Runner now on at first base, not third. And it'll be up to Gleyber Torres, who's struggled mightily in this game so far. Completely mystified by Bieber's approach so far. We'll see if he changes up his his tactics here. Looks like we might have something. Is it a pitcher violation, or what is it? Batter call time, still waiting for some clarification. Volpe gets a nice lead off of first. The set by Bieber. And throws over to first. Does not get away from Naylor, though. Looks like it was a little errant and a little offline, but he gets the job done over there. Most stolen bases in the American League. Mullins is at 11. Ruiz is at 11 for the Baltimore Orioles and the Oakland A's, respectively. And then there's Volpe. Gets a nice secondary lead. Off-speed pitch inside for Torres. Gets over the plate for a strike. You do not want to have the third out on the base paths here. So I wonder if they're going to hold off on sending Volpe, even though he's had a very good track record here. He's literally a step off of first, so he's not going to get a great jump. Right on the outside corner, and it's 0-2 here to Torres. Torres mystified on that pitch sequence, off speed and then hard away. Another pick-off attempt, and Volpe is back in there safely. They are calling a disengagement violation. That's mystifying. And here comes Terry Francona out of the dugout. I guess with that conversation at the beginning of the bat, they're calling that a disengagement. I didn't see Bieber get off the mound, though. I saw the one throw over, and then that was the second throw over. And I can understand Terry Francona here. He never signified to anybody out there that there was a disengagement. But in either event, batter at the plate, got to take care of him. This one gets in the dirt, ball one. So it's now a 1-2 count. Got to collect yourself here if you're Bieber. Very experienced veteran, so you wouldn't have too many worries about him here. Nice work by Gallagher to keep that one in front of him. The catcher called time, so I guess that's what they're calling as a disengagement. Okay, good to know. So if the catcher calls time, it's a disengagement. Let alone if the pitcher requests or steps off the mound or throws over to first. We're learning new things every day with these rules. It's now 2-2 as he's missed low and away twice now. Make it 3-2 now as that one misses low and away again. Trying to get him to chase here. I'm not sure I would have done that. I would have probably busted him with a fastball again here at some point. Now you got to think Torres is geared up for the fastball now that you have to throw one over. You don't really want to have Rizzo come up there with an opportunity to put a crooked number up there. This one off the end of the bat. Looks like he went off speed here. And into center. Making the catch is Straw. And the Yankees strand another runner. Very exciting half inning for the Yankees, but unable to get across a run. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Yankees as we go to the top of the 9th. It'll be Jimenez, Brennan, and Straw due up for the Guardians. We'll see if they pinch hit for Gallagher should the inning get that far. I mean, he has an .074 batting average, so I think if there's a chance to get in a run, they might pinch hit for him. Brennan could be another opportunity to pinch hit. Their bench, just looking at who they got to go with. Zunino's probably the one guy I would probably pinch hit with for sure. And then outside of that, I'd probably just let Brennan hit. I mean, Gonzalez has not done well so far this year. Only has 12 hits on the year, 1 home run, a .174 batting average. Zunino, though, is hitting .215 with a couple of home runs. Gallagher, as I mentioned, an .074. So if it gets that far, we could see Zunino pinch hit for Gallagher. We mentioned in years past the Guardians have really not had a whole lot of thump in their lineup. That was a priority for them. They went out there and added Josh Bell. They added Mike Zunino, 2 guys who are known for some power. So we'll see if they can provide some here in the top of the 9th. I'd imagine they're going to try to pinch it for Gallagher if it gets that far. Jimenez is up first, 1 for 3 on the day. Drove in a run and struck out earlier today as well. Batting average to .239 so far on the young season. Looks like it will be Marinaccio out there one more time. They've tried this with Cordero in the last half inning to try to see if they could get him to go another inning. But looks like they're going to try the same strategy here with Marinaccio. Curious to see if they'll have the bullpen going already should he give up a base runner. First one misses, and it's 1-0. Again, this Guardians lineup is very good as far as a contact hitting lineup. Keep you on your toes if you're a defensive player here for the Yankees. Swung on and missed, 1-1. They do indeed have the bullpen going. It looks like Clay Holmes is loosening out there, the righty. That one misses up and away, 2-1. Jimenez does have some pop, so you don't necessarily want to leave one out over the middle. Not that he's going to try to swing big anyway, but this one, a nice off-speed pitch on the inner half, I should say the inside corner of that plate, and out in front was Jimenez. 2-2. The set and the pitch. This one lined softly to second base on one hop. Torres makes the play, and Jimenez is retired. That's kind of the confusion right there. Bieber, they're showing the replay of the disengagement from the last half inning. He's trying to understand what does this mean. And I guess Bieber was trying to get clarification. I guess they found out the hard way. They're counting it as a disengagement that allowed the runner to advance to second. No harm done, though. Bieber was able to get the job done. Curious to see if they bring him out for the bottom of the ninth. A little bit more of a stressful inning there for him. It's quickly 0-2 here on Will Brennan. He's 0 for 3, ground out in a couple of lineouts. 194 average. He does have a home run. Curious to see if we have a pitching change here in just a moment or not. Looks like Clay Holmes is ready in that bullpen. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. Nice job there by Marinaccio, and the rain has picked up once again. Looks like we might be headed towards extras, and we do get a pitching change. Clay Holmes is indeed going to come on here. Nice work here by the Yankees bullpen today. I mean, nice work. Thompson was dominant. Marinaccio was dominant. Cordero got the job done at least. And now they'll turn it over to Holmes. With the rain starting to beat down. Just looking at where the pitch count is for Bieber to see if we have him come back out once again. Looks like he's up to 93 pitches. And where they are in the lineup, it is the 3-4-5. Depends on what you think Bieber has left in the tank. If you think he's got a little bit left in there, this has been the one part in the lineup where he's had a little bit of difficulty. He's given up a base hit to Rizzo, LeMahieu, and of course the home run to Calhoun. So maybe if you think he's got a little bit left in him, maybe you try to trot him out there. He's been very effective outside of giving up the 2 home runs to Calhoun and Bowers. But he's pitched a marvelous game here today. The only time he lost command was when the rain started up, and that's what's happening right now. So maybe you go to the bullpen just for that specific purpose. Or maybe you see that maybe Bieber's learned from that and has a better grip on the baseball now. Who knows? Tough decisions for Francona. They do have an all-world closer back there in Emmanuel Clase. So if this all could be moot anyway, if they decide to, if the Guardians are able to scratch across a run and then maybe they go to Clase with that high-powered fastball. In my opinion, Clase is probably the second best closer in the game right now. The first one is out for the year in Edwin Diaz. And if I'm the Guardians, I would certainly enjoy Clase's performance right now. I'm not sure how many more years you're going to have him. I think you're going to have him for probably this year, and you might have him for next year as well. But they certainly are not going to be able to afford and pay for him like the Mets are able to pay $20 million a year for Edwin Diaz. Clay Holmes on the year, 11 games, a 3.7 ERA. Straw takes a strike on the inside corner. Rain still coming down. Here in the top of the ninth, Yankees trying to hold serve. The 0-1. Off the plate inside, off-speed pitch. Looks like they've got double-barreled action right now. Clase is just kind of standing around. Stefan is up once again, so maybe this is it for Bieber. I'd imagine they're going to go with Stefan if they do not score. Clase if they do. This one's off the end of the bat into left center and misplayed by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Kind of made a half slide at it, and the speedy Straw is able to get in there with a double. If he simply keeps that ball in front of him, he holds him to a single. But in either event, very curious decision here by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Usually a sure-handed fielder out there, just got caught in between on whether or not to slide or stay on his feet. You can see kind of the face that he makes as the ball actually tips off the tip of his cap after it bounces. And we do have a pinch hitter here for Gallagher. It is not Zunino, who I thought they might go with. It is going to be Gonzalez coming up here. This is the first game for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in left. He's played 5 games total there in the minors, all back in 2015. Safe to say it's been a while. But just kind of got caught in between. Not going to say that he should have caught it or shouldn't it. I'm just saying he probably shouldn't have given up second base. But a base hit here by Gonzalez scores the run. So maybe they're trying to go with a little bit more contact here with Gonzalez rather than the power of a Zunino. Swung on and missed. 1-1 now. Gonzalez got a good rip at that one. And that rain is coming down now. Not sure if we'll see a stoppage or not. The pitch off the end of the bat into short center. Is this going to get down? It does! Oh my gosh! And a collision between Bader and Volpe. Bader looked like he got the worst of that one. And the run scores. Bigger question for the Yankees. Again, the health of their players. But the Guardians take the lead here in the top of the ninth. Bader kind of shaking it off, trying to stretch his neck a little bit. All 3 players just kind of got caught right in that triangle, and it landed right in between the 3 of them. None of the 3 really stepped back or held off or anything like that. Head first dive by Volpe, a head first dive by Bader, and they collided with each other, kind of a glancing blows with each other. Let's look at that replay once again. Looks like Volpe, or no, not Volpe with the dive. It was kind of Falefa from left, kind of came in sliding. Volpe picked it up off the ground. Okay. But in either event, both players were just inches from making the catch. Bader probably 1 inch, kind of Falefa probably 2 or 3 inches. And it was just perfectly placed by Gonzalez. An inch or 2 either direction. I think that's an out. They're still with Bader right now. I think they're testing him for a concussion. Testing his hand strength. Might have a stinger in his neck after that collision as well. But the Yankees give up the run here in the ninth. And that's what the Guardians do. I mean, they make contact. It's what they've always done. Just looking at the play, I mean, His glove was an inch, maybe two. His bare hand maybe an inch away from making that play. Volpe kind of held off at the last instant, knowing the two were coming in. They are going to take Bader out of the game, so I'd imagine we see Aaron Hicks come in as a defensive substitution here. And yet another injury for this Yankees squad. Not sure if this is purely precautionary or if this is more about the concussion protocol being followed, but he is being removed from the game in either event. Looks like Cabrera is going to be the guy who they're going to go with. Wonder if they move Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to center and Cabrera to left. That rain is starting to come down pretty darn good, though. Not sure if the Yankees will even get a chance to try to bat in the bottom of the ninth. It's raining so hard. This is an official game now that now that the team has the lead. They may not have to finish this game at this point. Cabrera is going out there. I'm sure that the umpires would love to try to get this game in. I wonder if that's why they're not choosing to pull the tarp out, because it is raining pretty darn good there. Kiner-Falefa does move over to center. Cabrera is in left. And it is raining pretty good. Strike one on the outside corner to Kwan, belt high. Good contact hitter is there. Gonzalez on the play, by the way, ended up at first base. Did not advance after the collision in the outfield. Kwan hitting .276, 11 RBIs, no home runs. Holmes trying to get a good grip on that baseball. Looks like we're going to have a disengagement there as he tried to wipe off the ball for all the water. Something else to kind of keep your mind on or open to. That one bounced in the dirt and off the shin pad of Higashioka, and Gonzalez moves down to second. Now another runner in scoring position. An insurance run would be vital for the Guardians right now, especially with all the rain coming down. You don't want to have a miscue cost you the game later on in the bottom half of the inning. They're going to score that one a wild pitch. I think that's more on Higashioka. I mean, you get down, you stop the ball, but it bounds away. I think that should have been handled by Higashioka a little bit better. This one's grounded hard to Rizzo. Couple hops, and he makes the play. And that's the third out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the ninth. 3-2 Guardians in front. Very compelling game. Yankees have had their chances offensively to get the job done. The error by Rizzo cost him in the first inning. And then that ball that just kind of found the right spot in the outfield, an inch or two one way or the other, as I mentioned, and that's an out there for the Guardians. But as it stands, the Yankees are behind 3-2. Bieber's pitched very well in this game, but I imagine Clase is going to come on to try to shut this thing down. It'll be Rizzo, LeMahieu, and Calhoun. I don't think we'll see a pinch hitter for any of those guys. Obviously not for Rizzo or LeMahieu. The only options off the bench right now after the substitution of Cabrera coming in, you're left with Trevino, Peraza, and Hicks anyway. Highest batting average out of that group is Trevino, and if you were going to pinch hit, you probably would have pinch hit him for Higashioka earlier, but that's not the case. So I think we will see Rizzo, LeMahieu, and Calhoun. Should it go further than that, with Bader now out of the game, Cabrera steps in there for him. Honestly, that's probably a little bit better offensively right now because Bader is hitting 143, Cabrera a little bit better at 198. It is indeed Clase coming on to get the save here in New York. Best on best here. Clase coming over to the Guardians a few years ago in that Corey Kluber trade that saw Delino DeShields and Emmanuel Clase come over. Corey Kluber, of course, pitched one inning total for the Texas Rangers as they tried to solve their pitching woes with a pitcher coming off of an injury. He, of course, pitched that one inning, and that was it, shut it down, and had to have and he was out the rest of the way. But Clase certainly came on with the Guardians. He pitched well for the Rangers before that. That's part of the reason why he was the demand for the Guardians in that trade. But look at the dynamic closer they have. In 16 games this year, has a 1.76 earned run average in 15 and a third innings. Has given up 1 home run, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Honestly, I'm surprised to see that strikeout number so low. But right now, it takes a it is Mike Zunino who comes in at catcher after they pinch hit for Gallagher. But swung on and missed there by Rizzo, and it's 0-1 now. As these umpires are letting this thing go as they try to shut this thing down. A lot of the crowd has started to leave now in New York with the rain coming down and them giving up the lead in the top of the ninth, or giving up the tie in the top of the ninth anyway. That one a little bit lower and finishes beneath the zone, 1-1. That one misses again, and it's now 2-1. Again, with the rain, it's a little bit slicker out there. That's why an insurance run would have been very nice for the Guardians to have. We saw that's the reason why they got the 2 runs in the first place, with Calhoun taking that mistake by Bieber and driving it over the fence. Same thing for Bowers. And the Yankees have something going. Another base hit up the middle for Rizzo. We'll see if they decide to pinch run for him or not. But he will be on first base. Kind of a seeing eye single right up the box. The Yankees have something cooking. And they do bring in Oswald Peraza to run for Rizzo. Get a little bit more speed on the base paths. They've struggled to make contact in this game, so maybe they try to steal a base. Rosario tried to make a dive at it, but he was a good foot plus away from it. Ball 1 here to LeMahieu. I think that's what we're seeing from Clase right now, is why he's not striking out quite as many. It looks like his command is not quite what it has been in the past. That one up near the eyes of LeMahieu. They try to pick off Peraza here, and that's his first disengagement after the drama of that in the bottom of the 8th. Important to keep your eyes on that one as well. The set by Clase, and eventually the pitch. Eventually. That one right on the inner halves. And Peraza steals second, gets into scoring position with nobody out. Very important here. This is where Clase and just looking at that stolen base attempt, Zunino just bounced that ball in there like 3 different times. Peraza got whacked on the ankle pretty good as they tried to apply the tag anyway. Ball trickled away, but not far enough away for Peraza to try to advance. Looks Peraza stumbled twice. Wonder if the wet dirt caused him to stumble twice as he tried to steal second. He tried to steal it standing and almost got picked off even with the ball bouncing 3 times to get there. A little bit of a delay here. He kind of turned his ankle on the base too. Just an ugly looking stolen base, but still successful, I suppose. And now the trainers are out to look at Peraza. Testing out his running right now. Shakes his head. And he's going to come out. Another injured Yankee. Ouch. Just more trouble for the Yankees. Peraza came on as a pinch runner. They took out Rizzo already. They brought in Cabrera already, who's left on the bench at this point for them to have a runner. I mean, you got Aaron Hicks, I guess. They do bring on Aaron Hicks. Trevino is the only guy left on the bench right now for the Yankees. He stumbled about a third of the way to second base, and then he turned his ankle a little bit as he kind of stopped short of the base and then slid into it because of the wet ground. And just an ugly looking stolen base, both for the Guardians on defense and for Peraza running there. Just not a good look. They let Hicks kind of loosen up a little bit and stretch. In either event, there's still nobody out. Batter is LeMahieu. Count is 1-1. Important to get that runner to third with less than 2 outs. This one is lined, one hop to first base. Naylor thought about throwing to third to try to get Hicks, but instead gets the sure out there. Hicks is grimacing as well now. Doesn't look like they're going to bring out the trainer, but he's grimacing a little bit. Maybe he pulled a little bit of something as he tried to run to third. What's going on with the Yankees and their health right now? Looks like Hicks is going to stay in the game and shake it off. Calhoun is up there next, 1 for 2 on the day, a solo home run and a walk. Takes ball 1 inside. Wow. Wow. Player of the game for the Yankees right now, Willie Calhoun. Willie Calhoun has come through. What a play there by Willie Calhoun. Just what a hitter. Just does not miss the pitch. Just takes it where it's thrown. Opposite field base hit. Hicks easily scores. And they have a blown save on one of the best closers in all of baseball. And that's an opportunity I think we're seeing from Clase this year, is why he doesn't have that strikeout, why those strikeout numbers aren't as high. That's probably the reason why he's having the struggles here today. I mean, he does not throw that pitch right down Broadway if he's on his game. But in either event, Yankees tie it up. It's now 3-3 as they look to have a walk-off here in the bottom of the 9th. Could we have our first walk-off during one of our lives here today? Down right on the outside corner. Cabrera takes strike 1. Still only 1 out. Calhoun not exactly a huge stolen base threat. We'll be shocked, honestly, if he goes. This one's lifted foul, and it's quickly 0-2 on Cabrera. Bowers is next. They do have the double play possibility here. The set by Clase and the pitch. 2-hop smash to second. Jimenez on to second. To Rosario on to first. And that is a double play. Looks like we're going to get extra innings in the Bronx. Clase with a blown save, though. And kind of a mash unit right now for the Yankees, just able to claw and scratch their way through this game right now. Player of the game, though, for them has to be Willie Calhoun. He's certainly had a tumultuous career with the Dodgers, the Rangers. Now he's with the Yankees. May have found a home right now if he continues to come through like that. Just looking at the box score right now. 2 for 3 today with that home run. Drove in a couple. A walk as well. Raised his average from 222 before the game up to 250. And with Judge being out right now, they're going to have to count on guys like Willie Calhoun, like Jake Bowers, to try to give them some type of production right now, because the rest of their lineup really has not been producing that much. Just look at their other pieces in this lineup. Bader, before he went out due to injury, was hitting 143. Cabrera, who came on for him, hitting 196. Volpe hitting 221. Torres hitting 236. Peraza 188. Hicks 146. Bowers, this is his first plate appearance anyway. He got into one game earlier and got injured in the first inning, but he's back out there. He's hitting 333. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa hitting 196. Higashioka 182. So they are a team in need of some offensive production. Looks like Clay Holmes anyway will be out or back out there for another inning of work. As the Guardians try to take advantage once again, it'll be Rosario followed by Ramirez and Naylor. 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. It is a pitching change here. Albert Abreu comes on. 9 games this year, 540 earned run average in 13 innings. 1 home run, 10 walks, and 15 strikeouts, a 245 opponent average. Now, the walks could be the thing that undoes the Yankees here, but they will have a runner on second base to start the inning. It will be Kwan out there, as he was the last person retired, the Manfred man, if you will. That's why these extra inning games do not last as long. Not sure what the holdup is. First pitch here by Abreu, strike one as it's fouled off on the inside corner, and it's 0-1. Not sure if we'll see Kwan try to steal third. Looks like the Rockies are taking advantage of the Brewers right now, 4-0 there. And with this one going into extras, this will probably mean we can't do the late game here tonight, as that one is just about to get underway any moment now between Seattle and Oakland. But we will have one again for you on Friday, Houston and Seattle at 9 o'clock on Friday. That one finds the corner, and it's 0-2. Abreu locked in so far. Doesn't have those same command issues that he's had in other appearances that we've watched so far earlier this season. We are in the top of the 10th. Disengagement there by Abreu as he chases Kwan back to second. The set by Abreu. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Nice off-speed pitch. Just fooled Rosario just a little bit. Looks like he had the speed just right, but just couldn't make contact with it. Looks like that movement towards the outer half of the plate kind of just made that ball just tail away from him just a little bit. And another resurgence late here by the White Sox. They're not giving up on their season after 1 month. I don't think anybody should, but still. They've come back on back-to-back nights against the division-leading Minnesota Twins. Bullpen issues for the Twins. Curious to see why that is. Going to have to go through the box score later. They do have a good bullpen in Minnesota. They intentionally walk Jose Ramirez to set up the double play with Naylor at the plate. 2 on, 1 out. See if the Yankees can get that same double play. And a hard hit ball right at the second baseman. And they do get the double play. Nice defensive play there by Torres. Just kind of spinning out of the way on that one. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup for the Yankees. And the runner will again be on second base. So if you can just get him over and get him in, this game is over. There's the Yankees, who struggled mightily all day against Shane Bieber, could pull this one out, especially after the Guardians took the lead late in the ninth. They power through. Willie Calhoun gets the job done. Looks like LeMahieu moved over to first base with Rizzo coming out of the game. Isaiah Carnafaluffa started the game in left, went to center, and then third base. They have Hicks now in center. Just your scorecard, if you can look on the screen right now, just look at all the different positions that you've got for Isaiah Carnafaluffa on the screen right now. Right there. Just look at that. They lifted Rizzo for the pinch runner. Peraza went out of the game injured. Bader left injured. They already have Stanton out. They already have Judge out. Rodon, of course, hasn't made his appearance yet. Severino. As I mentioned, a little bit of a mash unit right now for the Yankees. And Clase is out, and Trevor Stefan, who's already been up twice loosening, finally gets into the game, and it'll be Jake Bauers due up first. He does have a home run in this game in his debut offensively this season for the Yankees anyway. He appeared in one other game, as we mentioned, crashing into the wall, making a very nice catch in Arlington against Marcus Semien, I think was who it was off of. But it'll be Cabrera out there at second base right now. He was the last out in the ninth. So we'll see if they try to bunt him over or just try to hit him in. Stefan this season, 13 games, a 1.46 ERA in 12 and a third, 2 home runs, 4 walks, 14 strikeouts. A very good control pitcher, but does give up a little bit of contact though because of that control inside the zone. With it being a little bit rainy out there right now, we'll see if they're able to command the ball as well as they normally would. That one misses 1-0. Was able to lay off on that one. He does have a walk-off back in 2018 with the Rays against the Yankees. That one finds the zone on the outer half of the plate, belt high, and it's 1-1. The set here by Stefan, and this one misses down and in. 2-1. No need to push the envelope. If you're Cabrera out there at second base, last thing you want to do is be picked off. Especially with a golden opportunity here that all you need is 180 feet and you win the game. The 2-1. This one's cranked down the line. High drive, but well foul. And it is now 2-2. As they show the replay of Bauers back in that 5th inning. He knew that one was gone the second he hit it, about 6 rows back in that short porch and right. Stefan looks like he got a new piece of lumber out there. That one misses outside, and it's now 3-2. Again, not the worst thing in the world to get a walk here, as it does set up the double play that we just saw in the top half of the 10th. But would certainly like to get him here if you're the Guardians. The guy who's usually pretty reliable with his control looks like he's a little erratic here. It'll be IKF and Higashioka due up after Bauers here, and that one misses low and in. Runners are now on first and second. It'll be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa due up next. Remember, the only bat they have left on that bench is Jose Trevino, and if the way people are dropping like flies for the Yankees, you might want to hold them out just in case somebody else gets injured later on in this game. Otherwise, you have to go to a pitcher to play a defensive position at some point. Runners on first and second. I wonder if they try to bunt with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He has proven that many times in his career in the past. And they do. A nice bunt here. Gets it down. Ramirez makes the easy play onto first. And runners are now on second and third. I think the Guardians will trade the out for the 90 feet right there. You just got to be able to execute to Higashioka. They were able to force out Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at the plate the last time the Yankees got a runner on third with less than 2 outs. Just a really good bunt there, forcing Ramirez to field it. And they do decide to pinch it for Higashioka. It will be Trevino that empties the bench there for the Yankees. Trevino hitting .234, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, .675 OPS, and this is the do-or-die moment here for the Yankees. Looks like they're going to have a mound visit here for the Guardians as well. See how they want to attack this. Do they want to go ahead and walk him, or do they want to go ahead and try to face him here, get the out, and see if they can retire 2 Yankees hitters, or do they want to try to set up the force at any base? Guardians rely on defense and elite bullpen. Worried about that bullpen? Well, I'm a little bit worried about Clase because he's not really the strikeout artist that he usually is. He's usually at least a strikeout per 9 type of guy throughout his career, and right now he's not doing that. And so, while he's had a decent start to the year, I don't know. Here we go. First pitch here to Trevino, right on the inside corner for a strike. They are deciding to pitch to him. A little bit surprising here. Trevino is a good contact hitter, not necessarily for a good average, but a ball on the ground pretty much anywhere has a chance to score the winning run. And this one swung on and missed right at the knees, 0-2. Off-speed pitch there. Looks like Stefan's starting to get locked in with that command again. Looks like the rain's died down just a little bit. This one's lined into center, and that one gets down. That's the ball game. Jose Trevino comes up with the walk-off hit into center. The Yankees come all the way back multiple times and get the 4-3 win in extras. What a game for the Yankees. I mean, this is going to be a team building, like this is going to be one of those moments in the Yankees calendar they can look back to and say, hey, we had nothing going our way. Bieber was dominating us on the mound. The weather was terrible. The Guardians were doing whatever they wanted as far as getting on base. And they still only were able to scratch across 2 runs until they got to the 9th. But they had a couple of good fly ball, or a couple of home runs anyway, by Calhoun and Bowers to tie it up. They held them tough. Guardians take the lead in the 9th. And then when you think, all right, fold it up. We tried. We gave them what we could. Calhoun comes through in the 9th, gets the base hit. He's still the player of the game for me. Trevino knew it was good the second he got it off the end of his bat. And what a game for the New York Yankees. Without Aaron Judge, you lose a couple of more Yankees in this one due to injury. Well, curious to see how that one will end up going. Peraza looked like he tweaked his ankle. I imagine he's probably going to be fine, but maybe a day or two off for him probably will be all it takes. As far as Bader, just kind of depends on if they took him out for precautionary reasons or if he failed the concussion test on the field. But as I said, the Yankees are a little bit of a mash unit, and this was a big win for them. They are 5th place right now. The fans out there right now are kind of clamoring about what the Yankees are going to do. You worry about their rotation long term, but what a good win today for the Yankees. That's the 4th career walk-off hit for Jose Trevino. I saw his first one. If you haven't seen the video of how emotional that was for him, you should certainly go back and look at it when he was with the Texas Rangers. That's his 3rd walk-off hit with the New York Yankees now. He has solidified himself as the starting catcher now for the Yankees in my estimation. Higashioka is a good catcher. I imagine they'll still split time, but I think when push comes to shove, Trevino will be the guy that they turn to. Just what a game for the Yankees. I'm not a Yankees fan, but I'm impressed. I mean, they did not play well today. I still don't understand what Gleyber Torres' plan is at the plate anymore. I think they're playing Volpe at the top of the lineup. It's a little bit of a mistake, putting that much pressure on the young guy. They're counting on Rizzo to kind of carry the middle of this offense right now, which is asking a little bit much of him at this point in his career. He performed well today, 2 for 4. He's kind of the leader in that locker room, the voice in that locker room. But you're looking at a whole bunch of guys underperforming once again. You're looking at guys like Gleyber Torres hitting 236 is kind of the highlight right now of the guys that are underperforming. But you're looking at Peraza hitting 188, Hicks 146. Before this game, Calhoun was hitting 222, has raised his average all the way up to 250. Bader is hitting 143, Cabrera 196, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa 196, Higashioka 182. Just not exactly, a great lineup right now, especially without having Stanton, Donaldson, Judge in that lineup. And so they're relying on guys like Bowers, Cabrera, Bader, Calhoun right now to try to get the job done. But they get it done today. And that's a huge win right now for the Yankees. On the Guardians side, tough loss once again for them. They had the lead yesterday. They have the lead today against a struggling Yankees team. And instead of putting them away, a 500 Yankees team now is a couple games up above 500, whereas the Guardians now have slipped 3 games under 500, just letting the Twins just kind of keep their lead right now in that Central Division, even though they're struggling right now against the White Sox. Just an opportunity here early in the season that the Guardians should have capitalized on, in my estimation. Bieber was fantastic. He gave up the 2 home runs when the rain was heaviest, when he kind of missed with his location. My guess, with the ball being a little bit slicker, he wasn't able to throw it right where he wanted to. But they still had an opportunity to win it late. But Willie Calhoun comes up with a timely hit to get it done. Yankees had a runner thrown out at home as well in this game. So what a nice win for the Yankees. But just kind of give you the totals on it. 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Guardians today. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. We will be off for you guys tomorrow. Put out a couple of short videos for you, though. And then on Friday, we'll be live for you guys at 9 o'clock covering the Houston Astros and Seattle Mariners game. So thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out. Really would like to say thank you guys for all of you guys who watched us here today. What a great game to watch. I mean, it wasn't exactly that eventful. A lot of misplays from here and there from the Yankees as far as what they could have done. Balls just falling in, the drama there for the Guardians. And then, of course, the injuries for the Yankees, being able to persevere and get the job done. Just what a good team win for the Yankees. They didn't exactly work or have everything working for them. Had players go out due to injury, and they pull it out. But thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys on Friday. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like the video. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys then.